Saurabh Shukla, who's the editor-in-chief of the independent news organization NewsMobile Asia. He joins us from New Delhi. Saurabh, thank you so much for your time. This coup in February last year, there hasn't been any regional player that's been able to bring any particular pressure on the junta, has there?
That's a concerning thought. You're right, because what's been happening at the world has been grappling COVID, and obviously there are other regional issues which have been occupying center stage. There is a China factor as well. I can give you an example of India. India has this concern that if it puts too much pressure on military junta, it will get China to play a key role. So that's what they have been playing on. But it's a pity that in a global international order which values democracy, there is a country which is brazenly, denying human rights to its people. And Myanmar is a classic case. And this is where the international community has to realize that it will embolden other military rulers, other dictators to follow suit if we don't act on Myanmar, because the situation there is serious. I, interviewed many years ago Aung San Suu Kyi, and she has amazing resilience. But in front of a military, power, obviously she and her supporters are facing the brunt, and the world must intervene here.
What about sanctions? What about trade? And in terms of the effect on people, I mean, the analysis is always that sanctions affect people more than they affect leaders. So maybe the junta doesn't care about the sanctions. But is there any way to move away from the politics and actually use hard currency and cash as a way of making the junta at least stick to its original plans? Whether anyone agrees with the takeover, the military takeover or not, that it should at least stick to its original plans as it had a timetable for a transition to democracy. It said that August 2023 would be a moment that actually the country would return to its previous state.
They've been saying that, but I doubt their intentions, knowing by the past record. I think what is required is to make sure there's a coordinated response. I call it a hybrid plan, which also puts pressure, also puts certain timelines on the junta by the UN and the international community to say that you create a timetable that cannot be that long. You have to set in motion, release political prisoners. You know that Suu Kyi has been arrested now, has been there in jail in solitary confinement, and also some other charges have been pressed. So you need to find if the intent of junta is actually what they're claiming, the return of a multi-party democracy. They need to show that intent in person. They have to make sure that these actions, as they say, actions speak louder than words, have to be demonstrated by credible action. And that is where I think the pressure of sanctions, the pressure of putting travel bans on the military leaders and their families will make sure that they relent a bit. But the timetable has to be set in motion. And all countries, including the regional powers like India, have to join in to put pressure on them.
Saurabh, how much do we know in terms of civilian resistance and the guerrilla fighting that's taking place? Because there are armed groups in Myanmar, but what we've been hearing over the past year or so is that civilians have taken up arms to fight against the military junta, that have been using live ammo to fire back at peaceful demonstrators.
It's been happening. My sources tell me that there are certain pockets where they are carrying these attacks. But obviously, as I said, in front of a domineering military rule and power, they are really helpless. They are not getting as much support from even countries from the region as they're expected to. The situation itself, it's a human rights crisis. In some parts, there have been massacres which have happened. So, I really see this turning into yet another flashpoint, and the world cannot ignore it, because this also has a spillover impact on other countries in the region. And also at a juncture, you had COVID earlier, you had now monkeypox, outbreak happening. So it's really a situation where the world must step in and also because this impacts people, because people are at the, I would say, at the front line of this tragedy, which is actually, unfolding as we talk in Myanmar every moment.
Saurabh, really appreciate the analysis. Thank you so much indeed. Saurabh Shukla is Editor-in-Chief of NewsMobile Asia.
Thank you.